Hi there, Tiff here. Are you finding that you've just got so much pressure like within that you just can't find a way to help yourself perform better when you're playing your sport? So you just get so nervous, so worked up, so worried about how you're going to play. And the pressure isn't from friends or family or anything like that or the team. It's what's going on inside of you. If you're saying, yes, Tiff, I do feel the pressure, then don't go anywhere because we're going to work on that and I'll see you very shortly. Hey there, Tiff here. Welcome to Ambition Habits. So lovely to have you here today. Now, the big thing is pressure, isn't it? Like a lot of the time when we play sport, the pressure really doesn't come from anywhere else outside of us, but within ourselves. So it just happens, doesn't it? Like you have these expectations, you want to perform well, you want to prove to yourself that you're good enough, you put the time and the effort in to showing up and doing what you need to do, but you just can't do it because you still feel the pressure. And because you feel the pressure, you just can't get it together. So you worry about getting, to play your sport because you're worried about the performance and how you're going to be. And all of this goes on, days before you actually have to perform and compete. So what I find is that when people put too much pressure on themselves, there's a couple of reasons. And number one is like they can't perform simply because their skills are not consistent. So they just really can't rely on their skills. So when they're out there, out on the arena playing their sport, like their skills falter. So they just can't like put it together. So a huge one is it's that they just can't perform because their skills are not consistent. Second thing is that they expect that they should be playing better because they're actually playing more frequently and they actually spend more time playing competition. And of course, yes, we want to go and play competition because some of us thrive on that, and that we get that feedback and understanding of where we're at and how we perform and so on. But what happens is that people spend so much time in trying to perform, they actually don't spend enough time on getting their technique right. They have no strategies in place. They've got no routines. They don't know how to stay calm. They don't know how to stay present in the moment. And they just can't stay on that path that's in front of them. Like they just get so panicked and worked up about the whole thing. But a lot of it is like what I've said, is this pressure that they want to be able to perform. But two things is they expect that they should be better, right? Because they show up and play more frequently. And two is they actually are not very consistent in their actual skill level. So they can't trust that skill to be able to perform to the level that they want it to perform. I actually believe that there's three major areas that we really need to focus on to really turn this around. So I call this the trust-based execution. And what it is you can call it train it, trust it. Now, what you've really got to do in this train it and trust it is, number one, is you've got to master the skills. So most players who play at club level, they show up and play in the competition, which is great, right? I don't want to discredit that because I think that's a great thing. But they actually don't do the work, or they don't work on improving their skills. And then they feel that them showing up to play competition should be just enough for them to be improving. And I can guarantee you that's just not the answer. You can't just show up and play comp and hope that you're going to improve, or show up and play a tournament and hope you're going to improve on that. You actually have to do the work. So you actually have to refine the skills and really get those skills like so set and in foundations that you can rely on it no matter what, right? So you've got to look at, are your skills faltering? Because if you're not performing the way you want to in your sport, highly likely there's an area in which you need to start working on refining your skills and getting really good, solid foundations so that you can rely on the skills. The second thing is that you've got to rely on muscle memory in competition. So when you start competing and you're playing in competition, because you've done the work, right? You've trained it and then you've trusted it. You should be able to get to that point where you're actually performing like in a flow. So you don't need to get in a position where you have to overanalyze your technique in any way. Maybe one thing that you may need to focus on in that particular technique that helps keep you focused and on point with your technique. But you want to be able to make it like so ingrained. I always say so ingrained in your DNA that you should be able to just do it when you're out there competing in sport. So you can see already, like if you haven't got your skills mastered, that's number one, or two, you're not performing when you're in the, the competition arena as such, because you can't really rely on the muscle memory because you still haven't got your technique sorted out. Now, the third thing is really a combination of the two. It's like repeating and creating that repetition without overanalyzing. So we need to make sure that the skills are in place. So that's the first thing. And we've got to master them so that they're really good, solid foundations. The second thing you've got to be able to do is you've got to be able to rely on the muscle memory of it in competition. So you're not overanalyzing when you're performing, because you need to do other things. There should be other things going on when you're playing. There's a lot of other variables that come into it. There's a lot of other foundational routines that you need to have in place. And if you're too busy worrying about your technique, then you're not going to be able to get what you want out of when you're competing, because these fundamentals are not yet set in place. So what does this mean to you? What am I actually trying to say here? Well, number one is you've got to master the skills. Number two, you've got to rely on muscle memory in competition. And number three, you need to be able to repeat that action over and over and over again, that skill over and over and over again, without over-analyzing it. Okay, so you need to make sure those are in place, because that builds confidence. Now, I'll give you a really good and easy example of this. So when I learned to play tennis and golf years ago, so tennis was my sport from a kid right until I was 20. Like that was my ultimate everything. And then I took up golf when I was 34. What I knew and understood was that I had to really focus on getting the skills right. And I spent a lot of time working on the skills, understanding the technique, practicing the technique, feeling the technique, in everything that I needed to understand what I needed to do in both tennis and golf. Now, I've just taken up lawn bowls as well, so I'm doing exactly the same process. I need to make sure that I master the skills, because there's a few skills involved in that as well that I need to make sure that I master so that I can rely on that in competition. So the thing that you need to be aware of is, like, you need to feel it, you need to practice it, and you need to identify what's working and what's not working, right? And if you can't feel it because you haven't practiced it enough, then you're not going to be able to perform the way that you want to, because when you're out playing competition, you have to rely on the muscle memory because of the work and the foundations that you've put in place. If you haven't got those in place, it's very, very difficult to perform at a level that you'd like to perform at, because you're too stressed, you're too overwhelmed, you're too worried that you're not going to be able to perform well, because you know deep inside your skill level's just not there. So we need to make sure that you've got that in place. So the next question then becomes, like, what do you do? Well, I've got 3 action steps for you. So number one is to take an inventory of your skills. So for example, let's say golf, because as you know, I'm a golf coach and I teach a lot of golf. And I find that a lot of people don't have all these skills really set in place. So you need to make sure that you've got your full swing, your pitching, your chipping, your bunker shots, your putting, all in place so that you actually know exactly how to do those techniques. Now, the other thing then is also knowing how to transition from the driver to a fairway wood, to a hybrid, to an iron, and so on. The swing's the same. It doesn't have to be different. You don't need 14 different swings for 14 different clubs. Just needs to be the same movement. But you need to feel comfortable with each club so you know how to swing at the ball so that you can gain the same feeling, right? So the thing is that you need to understand what those skills are that you need. Let's look at another sport like tennis. What do you need in tennis? Well, you need the serve, you need the forehand, you need the backhand, you need the forehand volley, the backhand volley, you need the smash, right? So they're all the basics there. So you want to take an inventory and just be aware of what those skills actually are. Another one, lawn bowls. So the things in lawn bowls, there's 3 types of shots you want to be able to play. You want to be able to play a draw shot, you want to be able to play an on shot, and you want to be able to play a drive shot, right? So you need to take the inventory of the skills. So that's the first one, like what are the skills? The second thing, number 2 action step, is then I want you to rate them between 1 and 10, like rate the level of confidence that you have in each of those skills. So 1 being not so good, like, you know, you think it's pretty awful, to 10 being completely confident in that particular skill. So when you look at each skill, I want you to make sure that you're rating between 1 and 10 what those skills actually are, how you feel that they are, because again, that's going to give you some awareness and some feedback of what you need to be focusing on. Now, number 3, once you have then identified especially those areas in which you feel that you're not confident in, you need to start creating some practice regimes around that, right? So you need to put a practice plan in place of getting out there and practicing those particular skills. So let's look at golf. If your tee shot's not so good, right, you're not confident in it, go and practice it, right? If your second shot down the fairway is not so good, go and practice it. If your tennis serve's not so good, you can't get those positions right in the sense of where you need to aim in the box, in the service box, go and practice it. If you're playing lawn bowls, I like to talk about lawn bowls now because I've been playing it too. If the delivery technique's not right and you can't draw the bowl to the jack, go and practice it, right? So that's where I find that people falter, especially at club level, is that they want to be able to perform really well and to the best of what they feel that their ability is. But I actually feel that they hold themselves back because they actually don't really focus on the fundamentals. They don't actually focus on getting the skills right. So if you get your skill right, then what then happens is that that muscle memory starts to kick in, which then you start to build that confidence in it, which then you're actually able to perform better because you can rely on it when you're out there playing in competition. So that's pretty simple, isn't it? Action step number 1, take an inventory of your skills. Action step number 2, rate them between 1 and 10, 1 being not good, 10 being super confident. And number 3, create a practice plan around how to improve those areas that you're not confident in. Pretty simple. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Love it if you could share with me what you like best about what you heard today in this episode. I'd really appreciate that and love to hear from you. Now, before you go, if you want to perform more consistently and with more confidence in your sport, then come and visit my website, tiffany-micah.com, and get your 3 steps to self-confidence with the HAS confidence formula. So you can harness your strengths and build resilience, activate positive self-talk and mindset techniques, and sustain confidence through improving your mental and physical skills. So I'd love to see you there. Come and get those 3 steps to building your self-confidence. And I want you to dream big, believe in you, go after your dreams. Take care. Talk soon. Bye for now.